with the trading deadline coming up on Monday at 5 p.m., I hate to say it, it's looking more and more like the Brewers are not going to make a move, but will they surprise us? Get to that next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I think surprises is the operative word here, right? Surprise. Will the Brewers pull a surprise on us? Hi, everybody. Chuck Freimund, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin, proud host of Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This episode brought to you in part by FanDuel. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Play daily dingers. Make your free pick on who's hitting a home run this MLB season. Coming up, we'll preview the Pirates series. The Brewers come home for that West Coast trip, and they start a series with the Pirates coming up here in a couple of hours. Also, the Miz, I thought he pitched great again on Sunday. Where was the offense? And the Brewers took a pass so far this weekend. Oh, boy. I can't say I'm surprised, but it did sound like the Brewers were going to be active and make a move and do something. This time, the Brewers were going to do something at the trading deadline, something they have not done at the past, other than a couple of weak moves. And I consider Saturday morning, I don't consider that a deadline move. That's a move you could have made anytime you wanted. That's to provide some depth in this organization. That was not to help today's team. And I'm talking about getting Cody Hewer and Naylor from Cleveland. He gave up Perkins and Yoho. I didn't want to give up Perkins. I'm sorry. I didn't want to give up Yoho this quick. Things turned around with that guy real quick as far as what the Brewers feel about him. Obviously, they felt so low that Craig Yoho was not going to be the future closer on this team. They practically gave him away. Yeah, they practically gave Craig Yoho away, who pitched in the seventh inning of Cleveland's game on Sunday. Perkins, Murph loves Perkins. But, I mean, despite as much as you could love a guy who's hitting 110, but I'm telling you, Perkins, a lot of guys liked him in the locker room, and Murph loved him. But the bottom line is he can't win a championship with Perkins. Yeah, maybe for the ninth inning, get him in there for a defensive purpose, and he can snag one from going over the fence or make a diving catch. I mean, Perkins has got gold glove defensive ability. But offensively, other than he'll go through a streak once in a while, he had one nice game earlier this year. But Perkins is not good offensively. Yoho didn't want to give him up. In return, okay, the Brewers do get Naylor. And Naylor, at first when I saw Naylor, I thought, Josh Naylor? And I looked at it closely, Naylor. Okay, Naylor, guy's been in the farm system because he couldn't hit at the major league level. He's hitting 143. That's the kind of guy the Brewers acquire. Guys who are hitting 134, 143. This is where they're at right now. And I don't get it. I don't know how a team that's got the best record in baseball, it's got to keep diving for guys like this. And they got him in case, I guess, Sanchez gets hurt. And he got Naylor into the lineup. But you know what? Naylor one that probably playing some big time moments, because guys like this get into the Brewers fall in love with these guys who hit 110. And they run them out there, and they run them out there, and they run them out there. Greg Jones, they keep throwing him out there. Guy goes 0 for 5 with 4 Ks. Let's play him the next day. In fact, let's bat him clean up. Now, I'm being a little facetious, but I'm telling you what, I do get a little perturbed when the Brewers don't make a move. Yeah, I want to keep some of these prospects too, and I love these guys, these prospects, and I don't want to trade away Andrew Fisher and all that. But then that brings me to the Skubal trade. Okay, now I said from the very beginning, yeah, I didn't want to give up a lot for Skubal. But when you're telling me the Dodgers are giving up 5, 7, and 17 for him, then I'm like, wait a second. And I'm not talking 5, 7, and 17 in the top 100 in all of Major League, the MLB pipeline. I'm talking 5, 7, and 17 in the Dodgers they got a great farm system, but that's what they gave up. The Brewers could have done that. I was okay with giving up Pena. And then if you gave up Logan Henderson, okay. And then one other prospect. If that would have been more than what the Dodgers had given up. If that was the deal, the Brewers could have been in on that. Again, I'm not a big fan of getting these high-priced rentals, but if he was going to go for that price, come on. Is Ted Thompson running the Brewers these days? God, the Brewers just won't budge with those prospects. 5, 7, and 17 in the Dodgers organization. That's what it took to get Skubal. Again, a month ago, I would have said, okay, because we're good with their starting rotation. But I know, but the starting, we got guys who are tapering off right now in that starting rotation because we're afraid they're going to tire out by October. And I get it. But 5, 7, and 17. Not all of a sudden I get intrigued by that. If you trade them, apparently the Dodgers or the Tigers would have taken Logan Henderson, maybe, and then Pena, right? You give him Pena. You got enough middle infielders. And then you give him, there's another prospect I think they were interested in a little bit lower down. Yeah. That's what it takes. So at the end of the day, I said I wouldn't have been upset if the Brewers didn't get Skubal. But when it turns out, when I look at the asking price, I'm like, that's all it was? Why were we in on that deal? My goodness. Yeah, that's when I got frustrated. Peralta, Tampa gave up 3 prospects for him. Seemed like they gave up. Now, Tampa's farm system isn't fantastic like the Dodgers, but still, it looked like they gave up some good players for Peralta. Adam McKelvey put out a tweet tonight on Sunday night, I'm doing this podcast late Sunday night, that the Brewers that the Peralta never really fit into their plans. Did not see Peralta as a fit. But Peralta was a fit the last few years, but suddenly Peralta's not a fit anymore? He's not a fit next year because he's gonna go on the free agent market. But how did Peralta not go with? How is he not a fit? Now he was last year. Everybody claimed how much they love Peralta on that team in the organization. Apparently now he's not a fit. He's having a bad year, yes. But I'd still take Freddy. You tell me Freddy couldn't be your number 5 guy in this Brewers rotation? God. All right. Brewers got the best record at the trading deadline. Best record in baseball at the trading deadline once again this year, and it looks like they might not do anything. By the way, Skubal's going to pitch against the Cubs. I guess the good thing in all this is the Cubs face the Dodgers this week, and Skubal's pitching Tuesday against the Cubs at Wrigley. So hopefully Skubal can take down the Cubs, although we're fending off the Cubs and still trying to get that best record in baseball in a dogfight with the LA Dodgers. Man. Milwaukee, apparently, according to John Morosi, used to be JP Morosi, it's John Morosi now. He said the Brewers are one in a handful of teams, I'm paraphrasing, one in a handful of teams that are in a market for a rental. Well, what kind of rental? They weren't in a rental for Skubal with that price. Peralta apparently wasn't a good fit. Cubs got Kevin Gausman on Sunday night. You could have him. He didn't want to come here. Brewers fans, let Gausman have it every time he pitches against Milwaukee. Just let him have it. Didn't want to come to Milwaukee. Enjoy second place, Kevin, with the Cubs. He wouldn't waive his no-trade clause to come to Milwaukee. Not that the Brewers were interested, but we learned last week that Gausman had Milwaukee amidst some bad baseball teams on his no-trade clause. Might be the first time anybody's ever had the best team in baseball, record-wise, on their no-trade clause, no-trade list. So the Brewers got better organizationally over the weekend, I guess, according to them, with Naylor and Hewer They got rid of Yoho, who I thought was going to be the closer of the future. There was something there they did not like. I thought in spring training a couple of years ago, that ball was dropping off the table. Never translated from AAA and spring training a few years ago onto the major league level. But I was not ready to give up on him just yet. But other guys, man, we just keep running them out there. Oh, Kuno is going on a rehab assignment. And we'll gladly throw him out there when he returns. Who might the Brewers be interested now in? Who's left? We'll get to some of those names coming up next. Chuck Freimund here on Locked. I'm sorry I'm coming across angry today. I usually am not, and I wasn't even angry at first with the Skubal thing, but the more I thought about it as I worked up the day, and plus the Brewers lost on Sunday. Maybe that got in me, because the Brewers just didn't hit. All right, we'll get to that next. Chuck Freimund here on Locked On Brewers. I want to thank Amazon for this limited break. Amazon, it's back to school season. You spend less than your kids with Amazon. We all know how crazy back to school that shopping experience can be. It starts with a few items on the list, and suddenly you're shopping for supplies, clothes, lunch gear, tech, about 10 other things you didn't see coming. It all adds up real quick. That school supply list that you get from the school, man, if you're shopping for one child, it feels like you're opening up a small office supply store. Your kid wants that perfect outfit for first day. You put just as much thought into it as they do, and at least the first day photos are worth it. And the tech, man, calculators, headphones, tablets, you're buying one before the semester's halfway over, another one. But Amazon is here to help you out. Remember, with Amazon, low back-to-school prices with Amazon. Spend less on your kids because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Amazon, back-to-school prices, low. Shop back to school at Amazon and spend less on your kids. By the way, our podcast, you get it on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. We're the number one Brewers podcast on the internet because of who? You great Brewer fans out there. Locked On Brewers is also on YouTube. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. That alerts you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. Appreciate, man. We're closing in on 10,000 subscribers on Locked On Brewers. I appreciate that. All right. Who might the Brewers be interested in? Well, I'm interested in Mason Miller from the Dodgers, from the Padres, but I don't know if I could probably end up with the Dodgers or the Yankees. But Mason Miller is out there. Casey Mize from the Tigers still available. Reed Detmers from Anaheim. Soriano, who was scratched at his start on Saturday night in favor of Brent Suter when they faced the Brewers. Soriano obviously is on the trademark market. Robbie Ray is out there. Shane Bieber. Yeah, a few pitchers. Now, offensively, I'm not really bowled over by anybody offensively, except for I'm getting more and more intrigued by Arraez from San Francisco. After watching him against the Brewers last week, I've seen him play many times, but he's just a guy who's just magical with the bat. And I know he doesn't hit a lot of home runs. He's hitting 428. I'm sorry. Well, I wish he was hitting 428. 328 and 4 home runs. He's under a 1-year, $12 million contract. The Giants signed him on one of those 1-year deals, and he's competing for a batting championship again. Yeah, he would be the Brewers' best hitter. I mean, when I say the best hitter, their best guy for getting a base hit. Okay. But he doesn't hit home runs. He's got 4 home runs in the year. He doesn't strike out. So I like that. Doesn't strike out. Hits me 328, even though he doesn't hit a lot of home runs. His defense isn't great. Arraez has said, though, he wants to play second base. He heavily prefers to play second base. And, of course, we have a second baseman. I'm not a big fan of moving guys around and playing musical chairs with my infield at this point of the season. Although the Brewers have done that in the past, namely 2018. But Arraez, I would Man, he's a hit machine. Just a hit machine. It sounds like the Yankees and Boston are interested. I bet you that's where he ends up. It wouldn't cost you that much for a ride. I mean, if Skubal's going to go for 5, 7, and 17 in your organization, what is Arraez going to go? Yeah. Doesn't want to play second base? We'll figure it out. We'll trade for him and figure it out. How about that? Doesn't want to play second base. How would you like to win a World Series? Come here. Yeah, the Brewers had 5 hits on Sunday. Couldn't support the Miz. The front office, though, apparently very active. According to the reports, the front office is active, but nothing yet. Interesting quote by Murphy. He says, you're talking about the trade, the trade deadline coming up. He says, well, they got to be responsible. Talking about the Brewers front office. They have to be responsible. And then he said in jest, hopefully not too responsible. Like, yeah, it's okay if we get out of our comfort zone and trade somebody. I mean, Murph's doing his best there, trying to put all these guys together. I mean, he's picking up guys from the Saratoga Softball League in Waukesha. And Murph could probably pick up somebody from Club 400, get him in the lineup, and get 3 hits out of him. Well, maybe not that, but he'd probably take one of those pitchers and maybe gets 5 strong out of them. The Brewers are aggressive. Are they, though? Are they really aggressive? Getting Bo Naylor and Cody Hewer for Yoho and Perkins, is that being aggressive? Man. We will wait and see. Miz, I thought he pitched great. Thought Miz pitched great on Sunday. Not in the sense where Ned said Soup pitched great, because Soup did not pitch great that day, but Miz pitched great Sunday. Retired 17 of 18 after giving up that blast, the 2-run homer. And he looked terrific. He had some problems with the mound in Anaheim or Los Angeles, wherever they play their games there. Brewers went 5 for 27 with runners in scoring position. But, yeah, they were terrible offensively. 5 hits to support the Miz. That's my biggest fear getting to the postseason. Even if the Brewers get Skubal or Mizorowski continues to be great like he is, and he got a tough luck loss on Sunday, is the Brewers putting up a performance like they did on Sunday against that lousy team, Anaheim, against the Angels, that lousy team, Los Angeles Angels, against them. That's my fear. The Brewers getting into a game and they can't get out of their own way. 5 for 27 in the series against the Angels. I mean, you got away with it because the Angels are just so bad. Just so bad. But yeah, it's going to come down to October, mid-October. We're going to be sitting here at the microphone. And I said, I knew it. It happened again. Here we are. We just lost a series to the Braves. Went 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. 9 hits, but couldn't get any of them in with runners in scoring position. Brewers did take 2 of 3 against Anaheim and a 3-3 road trip. I know we all want it more. I know, and I was afraid to look at Twitter today, but I know it. Fans not happy that they took 2 of 3 in Anaheim. Should have been a sweep. 3-3 road trip, not good enough against 2 sub-500 teams. And I get it, but you're not. Again, that's baseball. I hate to keep coming on here and saying that, but that's going to happen. The Dodgers got swept at home by Boston this weekend, and Boston's playing great. What are they, 27 of the last 32? They're pulling a Milwaukee Brewers. They're just turning it on the afterjets in the regular season like the Brewers have done in summers past. Woodruff. Where did that come from? I meant to say would not. I got down here, would not talk about it in my notes. Mizorowski would not talk about the trading deadline today. He complained about the mound. Miz usually don't complain. Miz, when you do post-game interviews with Miz, usually doesn't say a lot. Good kid. He's just not going to give you anything more than a couple of words in his answers. That's okay. I mean, what's he really going to tell us? He's not going to tell us every pitch he's going to throw to these guys. Would you throw him? No. Yeah, and I'm part of the problem. We go in there and interview these players, but are these players giving us anything substance-wise that we could use to actually figure out if the Brewers could win a game against somebody? No. Miz, what do you think of the trading deadline? Would not talk about it, basically in a nice way, said, stop, don't ask me about it. Did it in a nice way. He's not a jerky. If you asked Reggie Jackson about that, Reggie Jackson would bite your head off. Mizorowski is not going to do that. He asked Billy Martin, Billy, you going to make any trading deadlines? He'd probably throw his jockstrap at you. Miz not going to do something like that. Brewers really haven't had players like that. I've said that in the past. The Brewers have always had guys who handle themselves really well. But I thought Miz pitched phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. I just having a great year. Tough luck loss. Brewers 69-42. And the Cubs lost to the Yankees. They stay 6.5 out, but the Brewers have the best record in baseball because not only because they took 2 of 3, because the LA Dodgers got swept in a weekend series, like I said, against Boston. We come back. Look at this Pirates series next. Chuck Freimund here on Lock On Brewers. Baseball fans, do you know who's going to hit a home run today? FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Easy to play. Make your free pick on who you think is going to hit a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use in your next bet and a chance to win extra winnings. How about that? Best of all, you make your free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers, another fun way to stay engaged with every day's games, whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups around the league. Every game has someone capable of going deep. Now you get a chance to make your prediction before the first pitch. I'm going to go. Now, I gave you Olsen from the Braves last week, and I am going to give you Wild Bill. I'm going to say Contreras is going to go deep for Milwaukee on Monday night. So if you're ready to play your game today, join all the action on FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com, play daily dingers. Make your free pick on who's hitting a home run. Play ball, swing for the fences on FanDuel, the official partner of the MLB. I'm going to get back to some of you guys who wrote me over the weekend on Twitter. Hit me up, Chuck Freimund on Twitter. DM me if you like. Freimund, Chuck, Chuck. I think we all knew that. Although I did one time go to a restaurant, gave my credit card to the bartender who knew my name. It said Charles on it, Charles Freimund. And when I went to cash out after, the night there, she says, I can't find your credit card. There is no Chuck Freimund. I said, well, that would be Charles Freimund on the credit card. And she said, oh, Chuck is short for Charles? I did not know that. All right. 7-game homestand starting tonight with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sproat, Henderson, TBA, and Drone in the first of a 4-game set with the Pirates. They got 4 with the Pirates, 3 with the Twins. Pirates 3.5 out of the wild card. They're 56-57. Cincy just took 3 of 4 from them. 56-57. That's a good year by the Pirates standards. They're having a good year. Now the Brewers are 56-57. I would be breaking things if that was the Brewers. But the Pirates, man, they should be having parades because they're 50, because that's the standard these days in Pittsburgh. Skeen's not having a good year at all. I was looking at his numbers, 9-9. Man, he's pitching Wednesday. The Brewers are going with Sproat, Henderson, TBA, and Drone. For Pittsburgh, Monday through Thursday, it's Bubba Chandler, Jared Jones, Paul Skeens on Wednesday, Braxton Ashcraft on Thursday. The Brewers are 1-5 against the Pirates this year. 1-5. How about that? And the Twins, who were dead in the water a couple of weeks ago, now are really one of the more active teams in the trade market. They went out and got themselves a couple of pitchers late last week. The Brewers will see them Friday through Sunday. Twin fans will be in town. I have no problem with Twins. It's funny how I don't have any problem with Twins fans, but I don't like the Vikings fans. And they're the same people, right? You put that same fan, you put a Twins jersey on that fan, and he's cool. You put a Vikings fan, a Vikings jersey and that same fan, and you know, you don't want any part of them. All right, that's going to do it. I know we're all frustrated. Me too. Didn't think I'd ever be frustrated about that Skubal deal, but it turns out at the end of the day, it was. I didn't want to give up Monday and all those guys, but when at the end of the day, from what it took to get him, Skubal, I mean, I don't know, man. For a chance of getting, I know Skubal won every 5 days. So I want to know if Skubal is, if that's the price for Skubal, what's the price can't be higher for Mason Miller now, is it? Even though there's some controllable years there, that's probably the bargaining point for the Padres if they're going to trade. And by the way, the Tigers are still in the wild, despite blowing that 7-0 lead the other night. I think they're 2 games out in the wild card now. So Detroit, how about this? Detroit makes the wild card, gets to the postseason, and then they face the Dodgers in the World Series and Skubal. But the Tigers, obviously, they were one of the general managers that had said, hey, I mean, they didn't say this, but probably said, hey, we're not in the race. We are technically, but we're not very good. That's what they basically said. We're technically in the race, 2 games out, but we're really not very good. Well, that's what you get with playoff expansion. And as far as this whole deal with Skubal going to the Dodgers, helping the owners out, but if it does it help? Everybody had a crack at Skubal. Everybody did. The Brewers had a crack at him. This is not part of the labor talks as far as, well, Skubal gets, the rich get richer. The Brewers had a shot at him here. So I can't look at it that way. Because normally we're like, of course the Dodgers end up with him. The Brewers had just as much, even a better chance to get a hold of him. They did. So I'm not going to cry big market, small market on this, because the Brewers could have went there. This is a time when the Brewers, they could have went there and done this deal. Like they could have got this deal done. So the argument there about, big market teams again, which I'm all for small market teams. You know, my stance on that, if you followed or listened to me over the years. But here, can't use that argument because the Brewers had it equal, just like Tampa had the same amount of ability to go out there and get Skubal, and we both chose not to do it, yet the Dodgers did. And the Dodgers got him at a fairly good price. All right, that's going to do it. My name is Chuck Freimund. We'll see you if anything breaks as well here on Locked On Brewers. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You'll get the instant reaction, the rapid reaction as soon as a trade or any game ends. We have rapid reaction on there, 60 to 90-second report on the game or any news that breaks with our favorite team, the Milwaukee Brewers. And the team has got the best record in the major leagues, despite it frustrating us from time to time. Locked On Brewers is part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you, everydayers. We are your team every day.